I never thought I'd see the day my own brother tried to ruin someone else's life and that my parents would just watch it happen. My name is Ethan. I'm 31, and my brother, Logan, has always been difficult. But I didn't realize how dangerous he could be until the night I introduced my girlfriend to my family. Her name is Claire. She's 26, a pediatric nurse, smart, kind, and genuinely caring. We had been together for 8 months, and for the first time, I felt like I could build a real life with someone. The night started innocently enough. Claire walked through the door of my parents' house, smiling politely, but I immediately noticed the way Logan's eyes locked on her. The moment she was in the room, his entire demeanor shifted. He practically shoved past my mom to hug her. At first, I thought it was just awkward enthusiasm, but then I noticed Claire's reaction. Her body stiffened. She stepped back, clearly uncomfortable. And Logan just laughed, holding on longer than any normal hug should last. Throughout dinner, he kept finding excuses to touch her shoulder or arm. He made inside jokes that didn't make any sense, considering they had just met. Every time I tried to sit next to Claire, he nudged me out of the way and slid into her seat. And then he crossed the line. He tried to feed her from his fork. Claire froze, eyes wide. She didn't push him away, but I could see her panic. I wanted to scream. She stayed polite, of course. She wanted to make a good impression, and I hated myself for not stopping him sooner. Logan spent the rest of the dinner humiliating me. He told stories about my childhood, twisting them to make me look weak and pathetic. At one point, he claimed he had saved a high school girlfriend from my emotional abuse, a story that was completely made up. Claire knew the truth because I had already told her about my past, but my parents, they just nodded along, like Logan was speaking the absolute truth. After dinner, Claire offered to help clean. I went into the garage with my dad to move some boxes. When I came back, I realized Claire was gone. I found her in the kitchen, cornered by Logan. He was standing far too close, his hand braced against the counter near her hip. He told her she deserved someone more exciting than me, his boring, unstable older brother. Claire had already told him to back off twice. When she saw me, she ran over, relief flooding her face. Logan just laughed like it was all a joke. That night, I apologized to her over and over. I should have known better. Because my family had never been normal. We grew up in a quiet suburb outside Columbus, Ohio. My parents worked in property development, and they cared more about appearances than about reality. Logan was born when I was 4. From the moment he arrived, everything revolved around him. Nothing he did was ever wrong. Everything I did was always somehow my fault. When he was 6, he broke my gaming console on purpose. My parents bought him a new one and told me to learn to share. When he was 12, he killed my hamster by feeding it chocolate, knowing it was toxic. My parents said it was an accident. In high school, he spread false rumors that I cheated on my girlfriend. She left me. My parents said he was just being protective. As adults, Logan still lived at home, doing whatever he wanted, sabotaging every relationship I tried to have. With Claire, I did things differently. I kept our relationship hidden from my family for the first 3 months. I told her about my past, about Logan, and she said, maybe things will be different now. We're adults. I believed her. I really did. I agreed to a dinner. That's when the nightmare began. Days after that dinner, strange things started happening. Claire began receiving calls and texts from numbers she didn't recognize. At first, it was just heavy breathing or instant hang-ups. Then messages appeared, cruel and detailed, referencing her work schedule and even what she was wearing. Someone was watching her. I recognized some of the voices. They were Logan's friends' guys who still followed him around, doing whatever he told them because my parents gave him money to throw around. When Claire blocked those numbers, they just called from new ones. And then they started showing up at the hospital, pretending to be visitors, but really just watching her as she worked. One night, One of them followed her to her car. She called me crying, too afraid to drive home. I had to meet her and escort her to her car, while my friend followed in another car, just to be sure they weren't stalking her further. I started documenting everything: texts, recordings, even security footage. When I confronted Logan, he just smirked. Maybe if she wasn't such a stuck-up bitch, none of this would be happening, he said. Something inside me snapped. I hit him. Of course, my parents came running, and of course, they didn't see the evidence I had collected. My mother screamed about her baby boy being attacked, and my father yelled about my jealousy and anger issues. My mother claimed Claire must have led Logan on. My father told me to leave and not come back until I had fixed myself. Claire cried herself to sleep that night. I realized something important. This was never going to be easy. We went to the police. We brought everything: messages, recordings, statements from Claire's co-workers, security footage. At first, the officer seemed concerned. Then we mentioned one of Logan's friends, Tyler, whose father is a local police sergeant. Everything changed. We were told there wasn't enough proof that Logan was directly involved. They suggested Claire might be misinterpreting attention as harassment. Weeks later, my mother called. Logan wanted to apologize. She promised that everything would be different. We went to my parents' house for a family dinner to resolve things. It was a setup. The house was full of relatives, Logan, and his friends who had harassed Claire. For 2 hours, they attacked Claire, claiming she was dramatic, jealous, and unstable. They questioned her work schedule and even her mental state. One of Logan's friends described what Claire had worn at work on specific days is proof, in their eyes, that she had been asking for attention. My mother grabbed my arm and told me to choose my family or Claire. I chose Claire. We left. Weeks later, at my cousin Maya's wedding, Claire went to the restroom. Logan followed. He pinned her against the wall, tried to force himself on her. Guests pulled him off, just as I arrived. Police were called. My parents tried to stop the arrest. Logan alternated between crying and threatening everyone. He was completely unhinged. He was arrested. We moved away. Started over. Years later, my mother called again. Logan had married. His wife, Rachel, ended up in the hospital after abuse. My father had helped cover it up. Both were arrested. Claire is now my wife. We have a daughter. We are finally safe. Our family? We cut them off because enabling abusers only creates more victims, and the cycle ends with us.